Okay. I'm writing at a keyboard and screen, eyes closed, a practice I've learned from writing alongside Dan Harris and watching them write at blue metal tables on the Illini Union Terrace in Urbana, sitting on the grass in Melbourne parks and on sofas in Edinburgh apartments, fingers on keys, keys pressing up against fingers, words arriving as they, fingers and keys and fingers move together in an interplay of human and non-human agency, a dance of agency. On my right wrist, the two bracelets, one leather with a silver clasp, one a silver bangle, still and moving, in rhythm on the memory foam rest as my wrists shift position. The bracelets are always together. They meet each other on occasion in the sound of silver on silver, engaging with each other in the formation of these words. The text fingers typing bracelet, wrist rest, writing eyes closed machine finds the word how. The machine pauses there. We stop there, affected by the possibilities of how, by its three letters, by its singular placing. My eyes remain closed. They have to feel it, to pay attention to this one word, how. How offers openings, not closures, invites possibility, not fixities. How draws attention to happening, calls attention to process, slows the world down, not how to, not the instrumental how to do something, but the how of the event, the moment of inquiry. How is this taking place? How is this possible? How is this? The moment, hexaity. How as a creative relational intervention in the present, a noticing of the power of the vital movement of creation. How the world seems so quiet beyond the sash window of my office on the university campus. How the buds of the beech tree are moving in a wind I can't feel or hear. How the sounds of activity on the meadows, sharp and vivid just a few moments ago when I was walking, are now muffled. Only the callings and laughter of the children audible from here. How outside the children in their green high-vis vests were impossible to ignore. Two boys kicked the ball between them, one always sending the ball away from his friend, who without complaint chased after it, brought it back, and they did it all over again and again. How solitary I am, how solitary in this building I have been these past lockdown months. The only person here in the company of the narrow spiraling stairs that echo as I climb, the sloping floors, the leaking ceiling. How my being here has been sailing close to the wind of defying university guidance. How I've had to be here, to get out, to get away from the sense of confinement in my flat. Had to. How it has been about survival. How solitary I have been walking here each morning. How hushed the city has been. The speed and bustle of early weekday city mornings long gone. The machine is still writing now, as you'll be aware, writing again until it's drawn again to the word how and its promise. How later I am not writing and she is here. It's therapy day, therapy time. I've been waiting for her, eyes closed again, breathing deeply. I hear the microphone click of her arrival and I look up to the screen. She greets me. Hi, Jonathan. There's a pause. How are you today? I hear the word how of her question pulling me into a different shape. I see her long dark hair, her glasses, her calm, steady look at me. I hear the softness of her accent. We haven't spoken for 2 weeks. Hearing and seeing her has an impact upon me, affects me. I feel present, connected. How in the days when we could meet face to face before this current lockdown, I would take the bus from near home to the beach suburb where she lives. I would go early so I could walk by the sea, get a coffee overlooking the beach, and watch the dogs being thrown sticks and balls, the walkers leaving marks in the damp sand where the waves break, and the swimmers like selkies heading without fear and without clothes into the bracing water. How walking to her rooms from the beach cafe would take me 10 minutes. I would always arrive early and would hover in the park across the road under the cover of a tree if it were raining, which it often was. She would open the door to me, welcome me, and I would enter, turn left into the therapy room, place my bag and my coat on the floor and sink into the sofa, breathing in the sense of possibility. How is it you are here? She might ask. How is it to be here? How is here? How it's been maybe 20 years since I was last in therapy. When I finished my training, I realized early in working with her that this is the first time I've been in therapy because I know I need it, and only because I know I need it. For those few years when I was training, I could offer the rationale or make the excuse that I was in therapy because I was in training. Now there is no pretense. Now there is only raw need over these few months that I cannot avoid or ignore. How at the screen today, I begin with the small, slow things. I look out at the darkening sky as if what I'm looking for might be there. As if out there, over the Pentland Hills, I'll notice what's here, rising, moving through me, that I can find words or movement for. A gesture with my hands in front of the screen, or maybe headphones permitting, I could find it by standing and letting the body's movement take me. How she will see it though, whatever I do, whatever happens. How she will notice, even from there, from her chair in her front room on this rectangular frame, how she will see me, how she sees me. I speak about what it feels like to stand, to walk, to reach, to pick up a cup from the side. It's there all the time. How she invites me to speak more about, to feel further into the it that's there all the time. How the screen image, the amplified speaker sound conveys how she wants to know, wants to hear, as the laptop rests on my table by the window, as the rain begins to tap against the glass, how alive this slow, fast moment feels, this post-human subject as creativity, this Zoe. A creative relational inquiry, writes Dan Harris, might be so small as to be imperceptible to the human eye, but it might also simultaneously be so big that whole universes exist within, between, and through it. How I say, well, I could call it pain. How it's pain, but it's more than that, or not only that, or not quite that. How I tell her that some mornings like today, this Friday morning, I feel it more intensely. Yes, she says. How I feel it as grief today, I continue. I feel it as absence. It's not pain exactly, it's space where once another was, still is. How I don't feel it as regret, nor only loss, or even loss. There is relief. There is the memory present of joy shared, but there is this absence, grief. How I say, I'm writing. How I write as I move, as I walk, talking into my phone, and writing, talking is taking me somewhere, releasing something, finding something. How I say, I have written a poem about a walk in the rain, just walking, an everyday lockdown walk, the small and the slow of lockdown, living, fluttering into poetic life, while around, within and beyond, there is the multiplicity of the small, vast and fast of a virus Another new variant speeding through and between, out of sight, out of sound, out of perception, imperceptible. How I, therefore, go for a walk. It's what I can do. How my umbrella and me, the small and the slow, find a poem in the rain. The act of writing, seeking to fathom more than human connections, seeking to sense the intimate in and the universe, seeking creative relational connections in between the spread of unruly, incommensurate forces, forces like a virus, forces like grief. An umbrella and I go for a walk. It was raining as I opened the front door, so I took the only umbrella I could find. I opened it on the street and realized it was the one with red transparent hearts. The umbrella, its hearts, and I took a wet Saturday afternoon walk along the rushing waters, stopping in Dean Village at the lookout to watch the river tumble over the weir. I held the umbrella tight because it wanted to leap in and surf the flow, or maybe that was just the wind. We turned left to climb the steep cobbled lane to the bridge, crossed the busy road and followed quiet Georgian houses and their big windows, glimpsing the young woman at her 2 screens and the father and son in a kitchen playing a board game. An anxious man retreated 3 steps in front of his house to avoid us, my umbrella, its hearts and me. Another, eyes down, skirted onto the road, the virus making us all wary. Then we were home, but the umbrella got stuck and wouldn't close. So I left it outside, open, broken, hearts running red with rain. How the poem moves between us, between, hear the hyphens, us on screen and through speakers on a table here by the meadows, and there on a stand in her front room I'm not in but am. How the poem flows, lands, moves on elsewhere, the umbrella opening above us, between us, a refrain, an improvisational creative expression. Before it fades, its work done for now. How it becomes time to finish. How it becomes time to click leave on the red button. How I wait for her to go. How the screen tells me she has gone. How she remains present. The traces of our encounter making it possible to wonder how it happened, how it was possible, how it makes more possible. How the rain continues staccato against the window, how I stand, stretch my arms to the sky, take my coat and scarf, how I pick up my umbrella, how this one is blue and has no hearts. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan, for an absolutely exquisite turning around of a 3-letter word, replete with a twisted little sign at the end. Thank you. We might hold our questions to the end if that's okay. So Christine, we'll move on to you.
Okay, thank you. Gosh, how to follow. It's just, all right, I can do this. Thank you, Jonathan. Just absolutely stunning. I'm going to be a bit boring and do a PowerPoint, but it's going to just rove in the background as the voice comes over the top and share some music because I think it's music time. as I speak, and I'm coming to you from a Wabakal country in the north of Sydney in New South Wales, on Aboriginal land, and the beautiful what's now called Lake Macquarie, which you can hopefully see in my my backdrop, which is in front of my house, which I'm very fortunate for. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Am I able to do that? I hope.
Yep.
Yep. And I'm going to share with you my paper, Nesting Rainbows Out of Ruins. The bubble moment finds me nesting, nurturing, mothering and managing, shaping the soft, porous arcs of care, huddled safe amongst the rainbows and reflections. I pull you close, protecting and stealing you away. Our nest bubble is placenta warm. We huddle close inside, peering out from the soft enclosure of our embrace. I am with you, breathing in this stale air, holding tight against the destruction, waiting for the urge of cosmic confidence. When this is over, we will be all right, I say, with an urgency that unsettles, as if will was all we needed. My bubble nest, this kin bubble, has been 25 years in the making. Crafted in time, measured in microseconds of care, touch and talk, layered over the years, places and countries, with others and without. You are my second child, but my only daughter. Adrienne Rich saw the uniqueness of being woman born. She said, all human life on the planet is born of woman. The one unifying, incontrovertible experience shared by all women and men is that months-long period we spend unfolding inside a woman's body. Whether we know our mothers or not, whether we are close to them or not, this incontrovertible experience is shared by us all. We are all made in that dark bubble of the womb, where we laid in the amniotic bliss inside our mothers, held safe until we are ejected somehow. And we present ourselves somehow to the world. Ta-da! Here we are. And then the separation begins day by day, where life forces us to leave the bubble nest and make our own way as next generations rise. Rich also says that in that shared experience, the materials are there for the deepest mutuality and the most painful estrangement. But looking further back, of course, the beginnings of my mothering bubble nest stretch beyond this moment and beyond 25 years of my current bubble. Before I was a mother, I was a daughter. Sifting through memory, I see how my daughterly experiences shaped the mother I have become, perhaps more than I care to realise. Daughter, mother, mother of a daughter, daughter of a mother, each unique and yet dancing with each other's becoming. Whilst pregnant with my girl child in the 1990s, I began what eventually became my PhD. It focused on feminist drama pedagogy, women's theatre, and devising theatre using narrative and verbatim methods with adolescent girls. I have always loved stories. My research was written in script form before we had a name for that kind of research. I was teaching full-time, leading a department in a school, being a homemaker, studying around the school days, mothering my son with my then husband. At the same time, my mother had fallen gravely ill with cancer. She'd been a highly successful teacher in an infant school and spent years of her working life as a deputy principal of primary schools. Her lengthy career as an educator was really stellar. She knew a lot about education and she was good at it. Her staff loved her. They respected her. They celebrated her. Sometimes as a child, I would help in her classroom. Oh, very special. Every morning, she would draw a beautiful picture on the chalkboard for her children, freehand. This was her small gift to the children every day, encouraging reluctant learners to look at the chalkboard, pay attention, look at the pretty shading, and maybe also look at the words that were there. I wanted to draw and write neatly, just like her, but I knew what she was trying to do. She was wooing them into learning. That seemed really clever to me as a 7-year-old. And I remember being proud of that. To me, that seemed a lot like kindness. Even as a child, I marveled at how much she was loved and revered at her school. I think maybe that was her bubble, her place for luminosity. She was shining in that bubble. The lights went off when she came home. And yes, sometimes she could be kind, but she could also be fierce and terrifying. My parents were both teachers. They even met at Teachers College. Each day they would talk about their work over endless pots of tea. One afternoon, my mother was telling a story about a naughty boy who had been sent to her office that day. I was probably doing a maths puzzle or reading a delicious book, but leaning in, I listened to the stories of their day. On that day at lunchtime, she had kicked that little boy who had been sent to her office for punishment. My mother knew a lot about punishment. She described how she had lifted her chubby stockinged leg and booted his shin with her two-toned navy and white pumps, while bellowing at him from above, "Donkey's kick, are you a donkey? There, did you like that?" From memory, I think my parents may have chuckled. As she recounted that story, I shuddered, and in that moment, I despised her. At 7, I was fully cognizant that she was the adult, and this was more than a punishment. It was an abuse of power. My mother knew a lot about that too. For all their dialogue and progressive ideas about education in the 1970s, kicking a little boy was run-of-the-mill kind of thing, another part of the job. How can a person be both kind and brutal, caring and terrifying? I wondered, were other mothers like mine? And then later, is that the kind of mother I want to be when I grow up? And sometimes I wonder, what happened to that little boy? What kind of learning happened for him on that day? And so after all those years of talking and teaching and punishing, in the final stages of her illness, she lost her ability to speak. In her last few months, she lost the power to control herself in a situation. In becoming silent, she lost her chance to resolve broken relationships. It was a time of lost opportunities for important dialogue, for important words to be spoken and heard. At that point, The compass of living was recalibrated. She was leaving, and I had a baby inside me. I'm reminded of Seamus Heaney's poem, The Aerodrome. If self is location, he says, then so is love. Bearings taken, markings, cardinal points, options, obstinacies, dug heels and distance, here and there, and now and then, a stance. By the time she could no longer speak, the nest bubble was rock hard, no longer fragile or porous. We had both already mapped out our stances and dug in our heels. The processes of dying and of living could not change those bearings. In many ways, mothering for me was full of potentiality, for the chance, the opportunity for renewal. And when it happened to me, I dived right in, heart and soul. I would make sure I would do this differently. I would be different. I would be better. I'd be the best I could be. I'd be a role model, deeply connected to my children. I would not allow my bubble to be broken, and I was determined to get it right, be the best mother, worker, teacher, artist, writer, learner, leader, and I could do it all. Heck, it was the 90s. And I think secretly in that quiet voice that pesters the daily grind, I knew I was absolutely terrified of fucking this shit up. But I kept my secret to myself that I was making this up as I went along. And the problem is when you draw your role models from cheesy American TV programs rather than your own home, that bubble just has to burst at some point down the track. We've always been entangled, right from the start. Sometimes I wonder now, perhaps we're too close. Adrienne Rich describes the earthly entanglement of mothering a young child. She says, from the beginning, the mother caring for her child is involved in a continually changing dialogue, crystallized in such moments as when hearing her child's cry, she feels milk rush to her breast. When as the child first suckles, the uterus begins contracting and returning to its normal size. And when later the child's mouth caressing the nipple creates waves of sensuality in the womb where it once lay, or when smelling the breast, even in sleep, the child starts to root and grope for the nipple. The child gains her first sense of her own existence, she says, from the mother's responsive gestures and expressions. It's as if in the mother's eyes, her smile, her stroking touch, the child reads the message. Firstly, you are here. You are there. Perhaps you have learned to read the messages I have sent, messages that shape you in our nest bubble through eyes, touch, responsive gestures. My messages have shaped your sense of existence, both good and bad. Of course, I'm desperate to revel in the credit for shaping your courage and loveliness, but perhaps I need to see my hand in your pain as clearly as I can see my mother's work in mine. When the contagion hits, I ride my mighty metaphoric white horse and I gallop in to save you. I evacuate you from your life. I help you cut your ties to the world and pull you close to me. We'll just ride this thing out together, okay? We'll be all right. Everything is just on pause for a little while. Okay? I will look after you. I will look after you all. And I busy myself with bubble building and nesting, thinking, well, I can't contain the contagion, but I can contain and sustain us in the bubble. I'll make sure we are safe here. The view from our nest bubble shows refracted contours of our previous life, playing like an old movie on the slime. The film of the bubble keeps us safe, but also distorts what we see and directs us back to the intimacy of being inside this bubble together. Bachelard posits that it is through immensity that intimate and world spaces blend. He says when human solitude deepens, then the two immensities touch and become identical. And in the solitude of our nest bubble, we become one. We merge as we are pulled into each other's immense, intimate immensity. The once fresh air of our bubble becomes stale and stagnant. As months go by in our nest bubble, I am clinging on for dear life, fiercely trying to shield you from the darkness that bubbles inside us and inside you. For all my work and mothering, I can't keep your head up above the surface. You spiral downwards into the season of peril. Things fall apart. The center cannot hold. The bubble bursts. It has to, so that we can walk towards the light. But I am walking beside you, with you, as you, daughter, mother, mother of a daughter, daughter of a mother. And now, months later, there's not one bubble. There are multiple nest bubbles. The urge of cosmic confidence has returned to our nest bubbles, and they are generating, regenerating. We are rising from the ruins in small steps. We are slowly moving back into the dance of living. We're bursting bubbles, and we're making new ones. And the vista from these new rainbow bubbles may just be more splendid than we've ever imagined.
Thank you, Christine. It's just beautiful and so wonderfully interwoven. I think all of us who have mothers, who are mothers, we're all feeling everything that you shared. So thank you so very much. Dan and Stacy, you have the final stage for this session, so over to you.
Thanks, Liz. Thank you so much to Christine and to Jonathan.
Amazing work.
It's just beautiful work.
Okay. So we have a PowerPoint or some images and the script on another computer. So hopefully it won't look weird as we look slightly here for our piece. It's called, as you say, Bubble Trouble, the Australian play. And this is an absurdist existential farce in the tradition, just to end this very deep and meaningful session on an absurdist note. In the tradition of Tom Stoppard's Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, for those of you who know and love that play like we do, and Beckett's Waiting for Godot, which create two central characters from peripheral characters whilst referencing the original plays on which they draw, which in this case is Macbeth.
Scene: a cavernous home office, in the middle a cauldron boiling. Melbourne winter wind howls in the background. 3 dog witches circle around the pot. Murphy the elder silently presides, while young Stinkerbell, the rabble-rouser, and Hazel the fool take turns stirring.
Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
What?
Just play along. Scale of dragon, tooth of wolf, witch's mummy, maw and gulf, of the ravined salt sea shark, root of hemlock, digged in the dark.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're saying.
Were you asleep? I mean, this is that movie that was on last night. No, shh, don't say the name. We'll be cursed. Just say the Scottish play.
The Scottish?
Yes.
Who cares? Let's just go eat sticks.
No, come on, this is serious. It's how we're going to get Stacy and Dan to stay home forever.
What's forever?
All right. It's like a really, really, really long time, and then more.
What's the point of forever?
Well, because we don't want them to go back to work, do we?
What's work?
Okay, it's like trance. It's a trance time.
Like every day? Like when the sun's up?
Yeah, and then sometimes also when it's down.
Oh, right. I hate that
I know,
time.
exactly. So help me with this curse, and maybe we can get them out of the trance.
If they're not in the trance, will they pet us all the time?
All the time.
And take us to the park?
Yep, several times a day, not just 3.
Anything else?
Treats, constant treats.
I'm in. What do we have to do?
First of all, okay, Murphy, just get Murphy to fall asleep so he doesn't come after me because he does not like me.
Oh, okay. Look, he's already asleep.
Oh,
He's just snoring
okay.
with his eyes open.
Well, all right, if you're sure. Okay. So the second thing, I need you to get a scale of dragon and tooth of wolf. I think it was.
Okay, where from?
Look, do you want in on this or not? Because I can't
Well, I-
spoon feed you.
I
everything.
do, but I don't know where to find a wolf, and I don't even know what a dragon is.
Hazel, improvise. Jesus.
Well, I can't
do I have
just-
to do
I can't-
everything?
Okay. What if we get a rainbow trout for a dragon?
Hazel, try to appreciate the scale of this. All right?
Nice pun.
No, that was unintentional. We're trying to change the course of history here.
We are?
Yes, this is a pandemic. In case it's escaped your notice.
What's a pandemic?
Do you not watch the news at all? I mean, the whole reason they're home all the time is because there's been a big virus killing everybody, all the humans off. It didn't used to be that way. I mean, before we were born, you know, they used to go out to see friends, to go to concerts, theater, and to work all the time. Work, here, there. Murphy says he was here on his own all day long. But now, since the pandemic, they stay home because they're not allowed to go out. Haven't you even noticed that?
Well, I don't know what I don't know, Stink. I mean, you're making it sound like I'm some kind of bonehead.
Well, no comment there. So, I mean, you do get a bit hazy on the bones.
So I take that back about what I said about your puns.
All right.
Terrible.
Look, do you want them to stay home, keep staying home or not?
I do. I do.
Okay, well, a rainbow trout is simply not in the same league as a dragon.
I
I'm
was-
sorry.
Going with the scales bit.
Okay. Let's talk about the wolf. Okay?
Okay.
Think. Just brainstorm.
We don't have.
Spitballing.
Obviously, we don't have wolves in Elwood. So what do you suggest?
Let's think about a wolf's essence. What's a wolf's essence?
Fur.
No, not his essence.
Howling.
No, that's a symptom, kind of.
Yellow eyes.
Okay, why don't you stir the pot, the cauldron, and I'll adapt the rhyme. Okay, let's go. All right, there you go. Good job. All right. Let's see. COVID past and COVID future, help us hone a life of moocher. Sleep by day and bark by nights. Our lockdown life in gigabytes is proof that things are perfect now in Zoom and photos anyhow. I mean,
Okay.
look, it was just spitballing. We have to make a curse using our desires, not Shakespeare's tragics. I mean, otherwise it will not even work.
Okay. So we're trying to get them to stay home for the rest of their lives. Is that the general gist?
Right, exactly.
Okay. Hang on. Wait. Now, are we putting the curse on them or on the whole COVID thing? Like, are we aiming to keep COVID going in general or just for these particular humans?
Well, I mean, I think just them.
Okay. Well, why don't we curse them with COVID? Then they'll stay
No,
home.
that's terrible. Wash your mouth out with soap. Come on, I don't want them to get COVID.
They'll be
I
fine.
love them.
It's just like the flu. Look, we gotta
No.
think of our own needs.
Oh my God, fake news, fake news. All right, Hazel, I'm not talking about serious health threats here. This is not actually Macbeth.
The Scottish play.
All right, okay. Look, we just need to keep them home for the next, 10 years roughly.
Okay.
All right.
So, can we pretend they have COVID? We could do a general perception curse.
No, I don't know. I don't think we have those skills. I mean, that's high level kind of Harry Potter stuff.
Right. So what do we need to chuck into this cauldron if it's not wolf tooth and dragon something?
Well, selfies? What about selfies? That's a start. Start with selfies.
Okay, selfies. Selfies of
We'll involve us cozy, like watching Netflix in bed, which is
Okay.
basically all we
Okay,
do.
all right, I'm gonna hack the computer and find
Yeah.
something. Okay,
Yes,
what else?
do
What
it.
else? What else?
All right. Tracky dacks. You know, they wear those gray track pants all the time now, basically. Those might be good. I
Oh,
don't know.
that's so not attractive.
Well, I know,
Okay.
but everyone.
Well, put 'em in,
is
put 'em
wearing
in.
them now. So what about Uber Eats?
Oh, good one. But hey, look, can you clarify our role in this again? I mean, like, are we the fates who are just revealing what is already written, or are we like influencers?
No,
Are we trying to
we're
change the
influencers.
course of events?
No. I mean, I think if this is an existential farce, I think we can't be changing anything, right? I mean, it's all just pointless, which is kind of antithetical to influencers.
I am too young and too fresh to be an existentialist fart. I mean, let's just say
Who's talking about farts?
let's just say we're doing this for the greater good.
Waiting for Godot. All right. Okay, but we have to accept the quote, fata ferent, whither the fates carry us. That's the whole point.
Well, that sounds like farts again.
No,
okay?
it's not.
Wait, now where do they carry us? I mean, that's actually kind of deep.
Fates, Hazel, it's, fates just carry you. It's not farts, which are very finite. I mean, they're very
Okay.
local, like bubble.
Okay. Well, what do
bubbles.
you think it means then, whither they carry us?
Well, it just means accept whatever comes. That's how I take it.
Oh, God, that seems like giving up. I mean, what's the point of doing a rhymed couplet curse if we accept whatever comes? I mean, let's just go choose some sticks.
Oh my God, sticks? Are you kidding? Look, it's an important question. All right, what's the point of anything during a pandemic? Even we, pandemic puppies, have to ask that timeless existential question, and others. What is the point of life?
Well, obviously, the point of life is food,
I agree with
Cuddles
that,
and
actually.
belly
That's true.
rubs and chasing and playing and barking and sticks and treats. Lots of
Chicken.
treats.
What happened to chicken? I mean, where'd that go? You have the limited view of a puppy, and I forgive you that,
Well,
but I
there's
think we're talking about
Any other view?
bigger. Yeah, well, okay. So philosophers have sometimes agreed with you and sometimes not. For example, the concept of hedonism is the purpose of life you're describing, but others think that sacrifice and service are the point of life.
I serve. Look, I mean, I don't
You
sacrifice.
do not sacrifice.
What's the point of that? But I do serve. Like all those licks that people think they don't need, but then they really enjoy.
No.
That's service. That's service. Or what about me testing out Stacy's morning coffee before she even has a chance to drink any of it? I
think
mean,
that's selfish.
what if it's poison?
Oh.
That's total service.
No, when it's not licking or lattes, Hazel, we're talking about ruptures. I mean, like global level ruptures. Like when a rupture as big as a pandemic occurs, you should be questioning the meaning of life beyond like Stacy's coffee. So
What do you think the meaning of life is?
look, what I think is not important.
No, I'm curious.
This is bigger than my individual story, Hazel. I mean, it includes my story and your story and even Murphy's story. But we tell our personal stories to, what do they say? To assemble a we, I've heard that. Community who embodies a collective will. To think about how life and death stories can create the collaborative narrative materialities needed on our vulnerable planet. Now that's not Haraway.
Oh yeah, it doesn't sound like Dan, Stacy. Oh,
No, I mean, it's Haraway, companion of dogs and other species, but mostly dogs,
Yeah, right. Miss Cayenne becoming with, I remember.
Exactly.
But what we need right now, what if the life and meaning were
Well, like broccoli or something?
broccoli?
Yes.
Sorry, the meaning of life is broccoli?
Well, yeah. I mean, among other things, sticks, but broccoli's really high up there.
Wow. Wow. Not chicken even, but greens?
I
Really?
mean, yeah. Okay, look, back to the curse. It's not just personal, it's cultural, it's political, right? It's medical. I mean, it's bigger than us, Hazel. I guess
Okay.
that's what I'm getting
Look,
at.
I think I'm finally starting to understand existentialism and all that stuff.
Good God.
Okay, but wait, does existentialism include broccoli?
I'm talking about autoethnography here, Hazel. Critical autoethnography, all right?
Right. Okay. So anyway, back to Rosencrantz and Guilderson.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
Tom Stoppard, what does he have to do with it? But he said it all before.
Okay, look.
Come on.
Okay. So we're trying another angle here, right? I mean, the whole
Yeah.
world is focused on getting through COVID, getting to the other side of the pandemic. But if I'm reading you correctly, we're not getting to the other side.
No,
We
we are
the
not.
dog witches of Poets Grove are seeking a deeper commitment to this transit. One that's not focused on endings,
No.
but instead on composing a common, livable world, bit by bit,
That's right.
story by story.
Okay.
Because really, look, stories are all we have, like Godot,
Yes.
or
Yeah, those two.
Gildenkrantz and Rosenstone. Listen, we're like staying with the trouble.
Exactly.
Or
Yep.
even like queering autoethnography
I
a
love
little
that
bit.
book.
Oh,
It's a
good
great
one,
book.
isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. Look, I didn't take you for a reader.
Well,
I have to
you
admit.
watch Netflix, but I read.
Well, okay. So this has been great. But are we still doing a curse? Because if we're not, I don't know. Uber Eats should be here. There's a stick calling to me.
No, we're doing a curse, but can I make one small
Well,
suggestion?
Please.
What if we go for the classic ambition curse? Like, what if we leave them a note that says if they stay home for the next 10 years, then they'll be like super duper powerful academics.
I don't think that will appeal to these particular.
Why? It always works. It's timeless.
Well, because that isn't actually fun. I mean, basically, they want to stay home for the next 10 years. But COVID isn't going to end, and then they'll have to go back to the office. The university will make them.
I see.
Maybe they could bring us to the university. I don't know.
No, I don't want to go there. I like home.
Well, then I think we have to make a curse on universities or something.
Yes. Maybe we can make them so toxic that everyone has to stay away forever.
Well, from what I can tell, that's pretty much already the case.
Okay. Let's make a post-COVID wish then. Like not a curse,
Okay,
but a wish.
I like that.
Just think of something new. A wish that makes everyone want to stay connected and cozy.
Cozy. Okay.
Yeah, cozy.
All right.
Cozy.
You lead.
Stir with me.
Okay, I got you.
Paw of dog and pillow of beds. Pandemic life gave 8 to heads. With lessons learned and jobs amended, post-human bubble buddies better befriended. Use the breach to see anew. Let creative relational love accrue.
Wow, that is actually really good. I like that.
Aw, Stinky, I love you too.
No, I didn't say I love you. I said I like the curse,
Oh,
the wish.
hey, listen, Murphy's awake.
Oh my God, he totally is. All right. When the hurly-burly's done, that will be the setting of the bubble sun.
See.
Scene.
Yay, the hurly-burly's done.
Thank you both. I think most of us are just falling around on the floor laughing. So much truth in that story, in that retelling, and so much love for the truth that you told. It speaks to all of us wherever we are. We have a little bit of time for questions, so I don't want to take up the airtime. I want to throw it over to all of you. Questions for our 3 amazing presenters. Comments. We've got lots of comments I'm sorry, I can't help but giggling. I'm looking at the comments in the chat. Has anybody got anything they would like to say or add to what we've heard? Is this the first time the dogs are presented at CAE, Stacy and Dan?
Well,
Actually, no. This is a little bit of a reprise of a dog presentation.
it's the first time for
Hazel's first
Hazel
time.
and Stinker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Stinker had another engagement, so he couldn't be on the screen. But yeah, yeah. He
They
sent.
did a keynote in Edinburgh in 2019, if I remember.
Yes.
They were brilliant and hilarious then as well.
That was Murphy and Tasha, dear Tasha. Who's
Murphy and Tasha, yeah.
I think they introduced us to chicken. Murphy did.
Yeah, they did chicken.
Well,
yeah.
It's just brilliant. Give it, wasn't it?
It became sticks in this piece, and then while we were rehearsing it, we said chicken, 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 and then Hazel went chicken, chicken, chicken. So apparently it works with all dogs, not just Murphy. But I wanted to say to Jonathan, I texted Jonathan after his beautiful presentation that I feel like he's the Raymond Carver of autoethnography poetry, because it's just so closely observed, and he's sort of like this cross between Raymond Carver and Kathleen Stewart. So beautiful, Jonathan. I always really love your work. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Christine, I heard echoes of your work that you've done previously about your father as well. I just thought it's so beautiful hearing the different layers of those stories weaved together.
Thank you. Different version this time.
Yeah, yeah.
Can I just say something?
Hello!
Like Jonathan and anyone else from England, it's very early in the morning, just got up. What an absolute blessing this is, to get up and be introduced to this in the morning. I was saying to David, it's just like a quiet time, a rebuilding time, a refreshing time. It's so what's needed. Thank you all for the different types of presentations. I've been on a roller coaster and it's just wonderful. So thank you. Each one of you has given me so much. I can just spend the rest of the day thinking about those three pieces. They're so intricate, so beautifully, beautifully put together, so intricately crafted, inspirational visually, physically, emotionally. So I just want to thank you for, filling me up in a way that is really needed.
Thanks so much, Katrina.
Thank you, Katrina. And
I'm gonna pop this in
so
the chat
excited.
again.
the
So
transition.
I hope this is right, Katrina. So the plan is we'll all go to the very first YouTube link, and we'll watch your keynote, and then we'll head back to the Zoom room 1 to have the Q&A,
Yeah.
and then we'll
Yeah.
back out. Yeah,
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
we're so excited.
So are we.
Nervous.
Very nervous.
Yes, may the technology gods continue to bless us. Pretty good so far.
Bring the dogs back and get rid of the curses.
We'll do it really quickly. We'll do it really quickly.
I mean, just an aside to that, since your Edinburgh chicken has embedded in our bodies, whenever we have chicken now, we say, hey, do you fancy chicken?
Oh God, that's a dubious legacy, isn't it? Really creepy.
But it's an illustration of how we do haunt and inhabit each other's stories and lives, and how we are manifest in each other's lives by the little simple things.
Totally, totally. The everyday. Yeah.
How, the 3 letters.
The how, indeed. Great.
Right.
Okay.
Well, shall we navigate our way over there? Yeah, we want to be sure to be on time.
Yeah, let's not be late.
Thank you,
To the dance.
everybody. Thanks, Liz, for being our Wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks. See you over there. And we'll see you back in Zoom 1
After that.
after.
YouTube first.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you so much, guys.
Bye,
I've got to go and teach, so
Okay.
thank you.
Bye, Davina.
Great to see you, Davina.
Big love.
Big love.